It all starts with a dream, a camera, a few videos, and the hunger to be seen. But what happens when the dream twists into an obsession? What happens when chasing views becomes more important than staying human? This is the dark truth behind some of YouTube's biggest names. This is what it looks like when YouTubers sell their soul for fame, money, and power. YouTube seems like the land of opportunity. Anyone with talent and a good idea can rise to the top, right? That's the story we've been told. But behind that success, there's a side of YouTube most people never see. A side full of hidden deals, secret agendas, and creators who are no longer in control of what they create or who they are. Let's be real. Getting big on YouTube isn't just about being entertaining anymore. It's about being valuable to the system. It's about being useful to people behind the scenes who benefit when creators push certain messages or act a certain way. You think it's a coincidence that the same creators keep getting pushed into the trending page, or that they blow up seemingly overnight with no explanation? That's not luck, that's control. Many creators don't just chase fame, they're offered it, but it comes with a price. Fame doesn't come for free. Some have to change their values, twist their personalities, or even become walking billboards for certain beliefs or behaviors. It's like there's an invisible contract. Be entertaining, yes, but also be the kind of influence the system wants. Take the beauty space, for example. Millions of viewers watch tutorials hoping to learn how to look better, feel confident, or just escape their day. But instead, they end up idolizing creators who seem perfect, too perfect. Expensive homes, flawless makeup, millions in the bank. It starts to feel more like a fantasy than reality. And that's the point. When someone like Jeffree Star dominates the beauty scene with luxury, power, and $200 million to his name, it raises questions. Why is it that he and a handful of others sit at the top while thousands of equally talented creators never get noticed? Some say it's talent, others say it's strategy. But what if it's something much deeper? What if getting to that level means making choices that regular people would never consider? Choices that compromise your values, your faith, or your purpose? The truth is, some YouTubers didn't just work hard, they worked with people you don't see, groups that want certain ideas promoted to younger viewers, agendas that push fame, vanity, and identity confusion right into the minds of millions. And because these creators are trusted, their influence spreads faster than any politician, and here's where it gets darker. Many of these creators openly use strange symbols, hand signs, or video themes that tie back to the same groups accused of shaping the music and movie industries. The same symbols show up again and again, hidden in plain sight, yet fans say it's just art, just coincidence. But how many coincidences does it take before it becomes obvious? Let's go deeper into this with one of the most watched names on the platform, because the next part might make you rethink everything you've ever believed about YouTube fame. Jeffree Star didn't just become rich and famous by accident. His rise wasn't just about makeup, it was about influence. And that influence has power, especially over young, impressionable fans. But when someone reaches that level of success, you have to ask, what did they give up to get there? Most beauty YouTubers start small, filming in bedrooms, using drugstore products, just trying to get noticed. But some never make it, no matter how hard they try. Meanwhile, a few creators blow up with huge numbers and luxury lifestyles. Why? It's not always about who's more talented. It's about who's willing to play the game. When Jeffree Star dropped a makeup palette called Conspiracy alongside Shane Dawson, it wasn't just about colors and packaging. It was a bold move loaded with hidden messages and dark themes. The entire launch was filled with symbols and strange marketing, and many fans overlooked it because it was entertaining. But some people noticed the signs, the repeated use of eyes, pyramids, and dark color themes that tie into deeper meanings. That's not all. Jeffree's public behavior also raised eyebrows. Constantly surrounded by controversy, but never fully cancelled. Always pushing boundaries, but somehow still staying at the top. That's not normal in today's cancel culture. It's like he's protected, even when others fall for less. You start to realize, this isn't just fame, this is control. And the ones who speak out about this, they either get ignored, mocked, or pushed to the background. There are talented women in the beauty space making creative, authentic content, but they barely grow. Meanwhile, creators tied to drama, flash, and strange behavior keep getting millions of views. It's like the system rewards chaos on purpose. This pattern doesn't stop with beauty influencers. It runs across the platform. You see the same signs with other creators who rise quickly. Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Tana Mongeau. They all made headlines with shocking videos, controversial behavior, and over-the-top stunts, and it worked. Every time they crossed a line, they got even more attention. Even when people were angry, the algorithm boosted them. It's a cycle. Do something crazy, go viral, gain followers, get brand deals. But there's something empty about it. These creators often start to lose themselves. They're not just making content anymore, they're playing characters, fake personas that bring in views but slowly destroy their real lives. And when you look at their lives behind the scenes, it's rarely perfect. Scandals, breakdowns, lawsuits, regrets. It's like the fame they chased came with chains. Fame was the prize, but also the trap. Some of them admit they're not the same person anymore, that the platform changed them, that they feel used, but by then, it's too late. They're already part of the machine. Now imagine being a young viewer watching all of this. You grow up idolizing people who secretly wish they could escape their own image. But how do you escape something you built with your own hands? The next YouTuber on this list proves that once you cross that line, there's often no going back. One name that keeps coming up when people talk about this dark side of YouTube is Trisha Paytas. If you've spent any time online, you've probably seen her, maybe crying on camera, maybe doing something shocking, or just starting another online fight. But behind all that noise is a bigger story. A story about someone who traded privacy, peace, and even self-respect for attention. Trisha's channel was built on drama. She talked about everything: breakups, breakdowns, secrets from her past, and more. At first, people thought she was just being honest. But over time, many started to feel that the pain was being performed, that the tears were timed for views. And maybe that's true, but that's also the cost of chasing internet fame. When a creator learns that pain brings clicks, it becomes easy to keep using it. Viewers keep watching, comments pour in, money comes through. But the problem is, after a while, the line between real life and content starts to blur. And that's what happened with Trisha. Fans never knew what was real and what was part of the show. She even admitted that sometimes she lied or exaggerated things, but instead of pulling back, she pushed forward. She joined controversial podcasts, launched adult content, and inserted herself into drama that had nothing to do with her. All of it worked for a while. Her name stayed trending, her views stayed up, but in the background, the damage was real. She hurt relationships, lost trust, and burned bridges. The internet became her whole life, and Trisha isn't alone. Another example is Onishan, a creator who was once known for his strange but funny skits. Over time, though, his channel turned darker. He started making shocking videos that pushed limits and made people uncomfortable. When people criticized him, he didn't back down. He made more. His content became personal, angry, and filled with chaos. People began to wonder if he was just doing it all for attention, or if he was really falling apart in front of the camera. Either way, viewers kept watching. The views came in, and so did the money. But at what cost? He lost friendships, faced serious accusations, and became one of the most hated names on the platform. YouTube eventually stopped promoting his videos, and his fan base slowly fell apart. He had millions of followers at one point. Now he's mostly forgotten. That's the danger. One moment you're everywhere, the next you're alone. But it doesn't end here, because there are others, some even newer, some even more shocking, who've taken things even further. And what they've done in the name of fame might leave you speechless. Let's talk about the rise of faking it for views, because what used to be real on YouTube has now become an act. Creators don't just share their lives anymore, they perform them. And one of the clearest examples of this is Jordan Cheyenne, a family YouTuber who turned a personal moment into a viral controversy. Jordan's channel was all about her life as a mom. She shared emotional stories, parenting tips, and family routines. Many fans thought she was relatable and caring. But everything changed when she accidentally uploaded a clip she was supposed to cut out. In that video, she was seen telling her son, who was already crying, to pose for a thumbnail as if he was crying harder. It didn't sit right with anyone. People weren't just angry, they were shocked. Her son clearly looked upset, and instead of comforting him, she focused on getting the right shot for YouTube. That one clip showed the truth. For some creators, emotions become content, not something personal or sacred. The backlash was huge. Viewers called her out for using her child's pain for views. Sponsors dropped her. People unfollowed. She apologized, saying it was a mistake, and even deleted her channel for a while. But the damage was already done. People had seen the truth. What happens when someone is so deep into YouTube fame that they forget what's real? And this isn't just about Jordan. This type of content is everywhere now. People fake pranks, fake relationships, fake breakups, all just to get attention. There are creators who lie about being sick, getting robbed, or even going homeless. It's all for views. It's all part of the game. Take the example of Biavo, a TikToker turned YouTuber who became known for his massive white teeth. When the internet started making fun of him, he played along and made it part of his brand. But soon, he started posting more dramatic stories about being homeless, getting injured, and needing help. Fans donated money. Some even cried for him. But then he admitted it was all fake. He wasn't really homeless. He didn't really need the help. He said he just wanted to trigger people and get views. And sadly, it worked. People watched. He went viral. He made money. But he also lost the one thing every creator needs: trust. When people realize you've been lying to them, they don't come back. They feel fooled. And once the trust is gone, so is your platform. And yet, more creators keep doing it. Why? Because it works. For a short time. The internet rewards shock, not honesty. It boosts lies over truth. And that's the dangerous part. It teaches people that the fastest way to the top is by crossing the line. But what happens when someone crosses the line too far? When their fake stories turn into real harm, not just for their viewers, but for the people closest to them. That's where the story gets even darker. Some creators don't just fake stories, they involve their families in ways that cross serious boundaries. One of the most disturbing examples is Ash Trevino, a TikToker and YouTuber who built her audience by sharing personal stories. But as her fame grew, her content took a troubling turn, especially when it involved her children. Ash shared everything. Her relationships, her thoughts, her struggles. But what really got people's attention was how much of her children's lives were posted online. At first, it seemed like normal family content, but then things got strange. She began sharing deeply personal details about her daughters, including moments that should have never been made public. One of her daughters later spoke out in a podcast, saying she felt used for views. She shared how her mom made her act sick during live streams to make money. That wasn't just content, it was manipulation. Fans were shocked. What kind of parent uses their child's illness to earn donations? It didn't stop there. Ash admitted to being jealous of her daughter's relationship with her father and even talked about harming her when she was younger. These weren't just random confessions, they were serious red flags. People started to realize that Ash had turned her whole life into a show, and the worst part was that her kids were trapped in it. At the height of the backlash, many people unfollowed her. Some even started campaigns to get her removed from platforms. But Ash didn't stop. She kept making videos, kept talking about her love life, and kept posting about her kids, almost like nothing had changed. It's a perfect example of how fame can blind someone. When every part of your life becomes content, it's easy to forget the people around you are real. And Ash isn't alone. Family content on YouTube and TikTok has grown fast, but not all of it is innocent. More and more creators are using their kids for clout, filming their reactions to sad news, recording private conversations, or pushing them into uncomfortable moments just to get attention. Kids don't always understand what's going on, but they know they're being watched by millions. That pressure can last forever. The problem is, viewers eat it up. Videos with children often go viral faster than anything else. That gives creators a reason to keep going, even when it's harmful. And because platforms rarely step in, the cycle continues. It's all fun and games until a child grows up and realizes they were used. And in the next case, we'll look at what happens when a YouTuber's dangerous choices finally catch up to them, because sometimes the fall from fame is even more shocking than the rise. Some creators don't just lie or cross personal lines, they put lives at risk, all for a video. That's exactly what happened with Trevor Jacob, a former Olympian and YouTuber who turned a simple stunt into a federal crime. And it all started with a plane. Trevor posted a video titled "I crashed my plane," and at first people believed it. He said he was flying to spread his late friend's ashes when the engine failed mid-air. With multiple cameras running, he jumped out of the plane and parachuted to safety. It looked real, it felt intense, and it got millions of views. But something felt off. Aviation experts and even casual viewers began asking questions. Why did he wear a parachute on such a short flight? Why were the cameras already set up? Why was the door open before the engine failed? The internet quickly realized this wasn't a real emergency, it was staged, and they were right. Months later, an investigation confirmed Trevor had planned the crash for views. He even hid the wreckage afterward to avoid getting caught. In the end, he admitted everything. The crash wasn't real, the danger wasn't real, but the crime was. He was charged, lost his pilot license, and was sentenced to federal prison. This wasn't just about faking for attention. It was about risking safety, breaking laws, and wasting resources, all for a viral video. That's what happens when the need for views goes too far. It's not just about content anymore. It becomes a threat to real life. And sadly, this kind of thing is becoming more common. Creators are now doing whatever it takes to get noticed, jumping off rooftops, eating dangerous items, faking accidents, or staging pranks that look like crimes. The more shocking it is, the better the chances it'll go viral. But behind every risky video is a person who's slowly losing grip on what matters. At first, it's fun, crazy stunts, loud reactions, big numbers, but the audience gets bored quickly. To keep them hooked, creators need to go even further, and eventually they hit a point where they can't come back from it. Some never even think about the consequences until it's too late. One bad decision and their career is over. Their reputation is gone, or worse, they end up in jail, injured, or even dead. If you thought crashing a plane or forcing your child to cry for views was the worst the internet could get, think again, because some creators didn't just lie, fake, or break the law. They used shock and cruelty in the most disturbing ways possible, all for attention. And one of the most extreme examples is Lovely Peaches. Lovely Peaches became known not for talent or positivity, but for chaos. Her videos were filled with disturbing behavior, violent language, and shocking claims. But what truly crossed the line was how she spoke about her own child. She went viral after saying horrifying things no mother should ever say. People were horrified, but also curious. And that curiosity brought her more views. That's the twisted truth about the internet. The more disturbing something is, the more likely it spreads. Even if people are watching out of anger or disbelief, it still counts as engagement. And creators like Peaches learned how to use that to their advantage. She kept going, making darker and more alarming videos. At one point, she claimed to harm her own child. Though that turned out to be false and the baby was safe with other family members, the damage was done. The internet had already seen how low someone would go just to stay relevant. Eventually, authorities stepped in. She lost custody of her daughter, was charged with animal cruelty later on, and kept getting banned from platforms. But even after that, she came back, this time selling explicit content and trying to rebrand as a musician. That's the cycle: shock, ban, return, repeat. But it's not just about one person, it's about a system that allows this kind of behavior to grow. The platforms benefit from views no matter where they come from, and as long as someone is getting clicks, there's always a way for them to come back, even if it means normalizing things that should never be normal. And then there are the creators who pretend to be someone else entirely, like Paige Neiman, who became famous for copying Ariana Grande's look and voice to an almost creepy level. At first, people were impressed. Then they were weirded out. Even Ariana herself found it uncomfortable. But Paige didn't stop. She leaned into the attention. She used it to grow her following. And even after getting banned, she kept returning, going as far as allegedly getting surgery to look even more like Ariana. What started as an impression became an identity, one that blurred reality for both her and her fans. When you reach that point, who are you really? These stories show us something important. YouTube and social media can give people fame fast, but what you give up for that fame, your peace, your values, your identity, might never come back. So next time you see a viral video that feels off, trust your gut. Ask yourself, did this person earn their fame, or did they sell their soul for it? Because behind the likes and views, the truth is often a lot darker than it seems.